Hello and welcome to the intro episode of the final season of the Mac Pro series. This is season 4, episode 1 of my Mac Pro series, where we originally started with an almost 11-year-old Mac Pro, and now we're finishing with an almost 11-year-old Mac Pro. Good timing on that. Let's get to it. Anyway, welcome guys. I'm Greg Hrutkay of Hrutkay Mods, and this is the intro video for the last season of the Mac Pro series, where we are going to be introducing my 6,1 Mac Pro, the Trashcan. And this series, this whole episode, I'm just going to be briefly talking about the history of this series, the reason why it died, and the reason why I brought it back. And talk a few things about why we're coming back to do this. So, yeah, it's been a long road. This series originally started the channel back up. This is the actual Mac Pro that started the series up. This is my 1,1. I converted into a 2,1. Season 1, we focused on the 1,1, 2,1, because at the time, the 3,1 still ran the most recent operating systems like this did when I started the series. This, of course, died shortly thereafter when I started the series. El Capitan ended up being the last OS this thing could run, but it still runs Windows 10 fine. And up until, I guess, the last few weeks, you could run Windows 11 fully updated on this too. It's still a very useful system, and it will be for a little bit longer. But it is starting to get a little, it's old. I mean, at this point, this system is, boy, I can't math. This system is 18 years old. It's really old. I mean, this is like ancient, but it still does what you need it to do. You can even play some modern games and stuff on this thing, and it still works. So season 1, we focused on the 1,1, 2,1. In season 2, the 3,1 and 4,1s were both dropped off official support, and their values plummeted. And when their values plummeted, I bought a 3,1. And that season was mostly based around the 3,1. And so season 2, we had a few 1,1, 2,1 videos, but it was mostly the 3,1. Season 3, I got into partnership with my new sponsor at the time, which I'm not going to say their name. There's some history with that. And one of the reasons why I ended up killing the series, because I was kind of sour over that. Long story, we're not going into it. But I bought one off of my sponsor for half the price they were going for at the time. It was a 4,1. And I decided we'd start doing the series on that. Well, as I was doing that series, I started noticing something for that season, that everyone's doing these videos now. There's really no point to have this series. So I decided to kill the series before I even finished that season. And I still never did the CPU swap. In fact, that system until about a year and a half ago was my main system, and it still had the original 2009 processors in it. And that was the system I used to edit all my videos. But it started getting really slow, and I just did not feel like doing the deleting to make it all work. And I didn't want to do the video on it because there were so many videos out there talking about how to do it. In fact, GT made a great live stream of doing one, and it's just, I never felt the need to continue the series. So after December 31st, 2018, the series was gone. And it was an abrupt finish. Honestly, I never liked this series. This series, I feel, in the beginning, I liked the series because I liked showing you guys what you could do with this system. And I was one of the first people to ever really show you how to do it properly. But by the time the series had moved on, everyone was doing it, and I just felt like I was being forced to film this series. I did not like this series, and it it weighed heavily on me. And as you can tell, I'm probably not going to edit any of this video. So yeah, just hang in there with me. We'll get to the point. But anyway, I didn't like this series. I decided I'm just not going to film it anymore, because at the time when I ended the series, it was just still kind of limbo. I thought maybe I'll come back to it, do the deleting and all that stuff. And then I just decided, let's just kill it. And I've talked about it in the past in live streams and stuff. I never liked the series after probably midway towards, maybe it was about the end of the first season. By the second season, it started getting old. And I mean, there's only so much you can film over and over again on these systems. And this system is quite similar to a 5.1 in many different aspects. It's just as expandable and all this stuff. I mean, it's 32-bit EFI, but it could do most of the things the 5.1 could do, just slower. You know, you can't repeat yourself multiple times in a series without starting to get really bored. So that's why the series died. But now that the support for the 6.1 has come and gone, this system right here, I've decided we need to bring back the series one more time for season 4, the last season. I doubt I'll ever film another season of this series, so I'm going to call this the final season. Unless some miracle happens and the 2019 Mac Pros drop in value by a lot. And honestly, by the time they drop, it's probably because Apple Silicon has fully taken over and there's no more OS support on them. And by then, it's going to be a full-fledged Windows computer if you want to run the most recent OS or Linux. I mean, you could do Linux too. But yeah, I don't see there being a 7.1 or even the 8.1, as humorous as that is to even talk about. I don't see there being seasons based on those. So season 1 was the 1.1, 2.1. Season 2 was the 3.1. Season 4 was the 4.1, 5.1. And season 4, there's so many numbers, I think I just got that all mixed up. But you know what I mean. And season 4 will be the 6.1. And this system, I'm not going to show you how to upgrade. There's so many videos out there on how to upgrade it. In fact, I went on eBay and found the cheapest 12-core, 64-gig RAM, 1 terabyte SSD system I could find. This thing is built the way I would have built one. And I didn't have to build it. So we're going to be showing you how to get different OSs on it, show you things you can do with it. We're going to try to do the eGPU, and we're going to try to get the eGPU to work on newer OSs other than Monterey, which was the last system, one that this supported, and the last one that eGPU officially worked on. I've been experimenting with it a little bit. The eGPU works great on this thing in Monterey, but also Monterey is about to lose support in a few months with security updates, so we need to get to a newer OS. And to do that, we will have to use OpenCore Legacy Patcher to do it. And there's some problems there because the GPU driver support is kind of dropped after that. After Monterey, you can't get the eGPU to work, supposedly. But I think with OpenCore we can do it because you can use a 5.1, we'll pretend this is 5.1. You can use a 4.1, 5.1 with OpenCore and use up to the Vegas in GPUs still, because you can backport the drivers with OpenCore to make them work because they require more instruction sets that these systems don't have. Thanks, Apple, for that. But anyway, the newer cards past, I think, around Vega, maybe the one right after Vega, are not supported on this. The RX 500 series should be supported, but anything past that, I don't think they supported 5.1s. because of the driver problem. And there's just no backporting those newer drivers. So you're stuck on Monterey on the 5.1, or even this if you want to use the newer cards in an eGPU enclosure. So we're going to be using older cards. I'm going to be using my Vega 56. We're going to try to get the open core drivers to work with the eGPU stuff that they haven't updated in multiple years now, and try to get them to talk nicely to each other and try to make it work. This series will be spotty. I can't guarantee when I'll upload videos. And it's going to be a series that I will finish just because I want to officially finish the series properly. But I'm not saying it's going to end this year. It might be next year because I have so many different projects to film. And this series, like I said, I just don't like the Mac Pro series. So it's going to come and go. Anytime I feel like it's time to film something, we're going to film something on this and try to make it work. Now, I will have a video coming out for it soon, probably, but it's going to be probably the next month or so. Don't hold me to that, though, because, I mean, I said that I was coming back in 2018. Yeah, but it should be pretty close to the next month or so. We'll do a video on this, start doing videos on this thing. And I'm starting to lose my train of thought of what I was talking about now. So, what was I talking about? Yeah, this series has always made me scramble my brains because the longest bloopers I've ever had were in this series. In fact, I filmed a number of intros multiple times for hours because this series always scrambles my brain. But I'm going to finish this series. We're going to make this thing as modern as possible. It's still a very powerful system, and it should run Windows 11 quite well if we can hack it to get it on there. So that should be an interesting thing, too. And there's just so many different tips that I'm still learning about this thing because this system right here is one of the stupidest systems Apple ever designed, but it's also kind of elegant. I mean, you got two GPUs because they thought multi-GPU performance would be a thing, and it wasn't. And they also had other things. I mean, it's different. I mean, you've got 6 Thunderbolt 2 ports in the back of it for expandability. They knew that you were going to need expandability. They just didn't want to put it in the system, which is why it made it such a stupid system. But still, it had some good power. In fact, Apple, I guess, decided they had plenty enough power for 6 years. I mean, they just killed it off in 2019. A 6-year-old system was still modern in 2019 because Apple just couldn't get their heads out their rear ends and rebuild one of these. And they finally did. And then we never really talked about the 7.1 again. I mean, it did what it needed to do, but by then, other systems were just so much better. So it wasn't the top tier very long. So this whole series really, by that point, was pretty dead. But yeah, this system is a very interesting system. There's a lot of things that it's old. It's almost 11 years old. This was almost 11 years old when we started. So it's going to be something interesting to talk about. We're going to be trying our best to make this thing just a fancy Mac Mini with a bunch of stuff sticking out of it. Because that's more or less what it is. Such a strange system. But anyway, guys, I hope you're looking forward to this last season of the Mac Pro series. It's been a roller coaster ride from beginning to end. I appreciate people that still watch the old videos. I kept them up even though the first few seasons were pretty bad filming wise, and they're just really hard to watch in my opinion. I didn't know how to film them, and honestly I still don't know how to film, but I film a lot better than I used to. So I hope you guys are looking forward to this season. We're going to be doing more things than you probably can imagine if I can talk myself into doing it. Like I said, this series wears thin on me really quick. But we will talk more about this. It's going to be a fun time, and I'm looking forward to it because we're going to finally give the proper send-off to the series that it actually deserved, because it was such an important series to my channel, and a lot of people discovered me because of it. And if you're one of those OGs, hi, we're back. Anyway, so don't forget, guys, I do have Patreon and memberships. Links at the end of the video, description below, or join button. But, you know, anything helps. But if you want to support me, I greatly appreciate it. And I hope you guys are looking forward to this, because it's pretty neat. So anyway, this has been a Hrutkay Mods video. Bye, guys. Hey guys, I forgot to mention this in the video. I will be doing other videos on the other Mac Pros probably in the future. There's a few other things I want to experiment with, but this season's all going to be based off of this. And anything we do on these in the future, even this when the series is over, will not be in the series because the series will be dead. And they'll just have their own dedicated videos. So, yeah.